The Prince of Wales title once helped trigger a civil war. It sounds absurd, almost like a conspiracy hook, but it's true. Today, when people think of the Prince of Wales, they picture Prince William, polished, steady, smiling at state banquets, shaking hands during public tours, cutting ribbons, raising awareness for mental health. He's the image of calm dynasty building in the 21st century. And honestly, most of us assume that's what the title has always meant, a preparation for greatness, a throne waiting patiently in the distance. But if you think Prince William has pressure on his shoulders today, wait until you hear about the Princes of Wales from the House of Stuart. Because their story isn't just dramatic, it's explosive. One watched his father get executed in front of the entire nation. One was overthrown before he even learned how to rule. And one spent more time running for his life than preparing to be king. Sounds insane, right? Do you think so? We look at the Prince of Wales today and see a future king in training groomed, guided, protected. But for the Stuarts, that title wasn't a promise. It wasn't even protection. It was a warning label, a target painted in gold, a countdown timer ticking toward disaster. Imagine being born heir to the throne, only to watch the throne vanish. Imagine being crowned, only to be hunted. Imagine being told you're the future of the kingdom, while the kingdom itself collapses under your feet. During the 1600s, the title Prince of Wales didn't protect you. It practically cursed you. These princes didn't inherit power, they inherited chaos, and their lives lit the fuse that blew England apart, igniting a civil war, executing a king, erasing the monarchy, and turning the nation into a republic for the first and only time in its history. So now, the question is simple and honestly chilling. Was the Prince of Wales a crown or a trap? Let's see. If a single royal title could tear a country in half, what else don't we know about the princes who wore it? Stick around. If the Tudor era was messy, the Stuart era basically said, hold my beer. Because by the early 1600s, the real battle in England wasn't just about kings. It wasn't just about religion. It wasn't even about war. It was about something far more dangerous. Who actually controlled England? The monarch or the parliament? And caught in the middle of this tug of war were the Princes of Wales. Three boys who shouldn't have been soldiers in a constitutional war, but were forced to become its symbols. Ready? Let's see. Let's start with the golden boy of the Stuart dynasty, Henry Frederick, Prince of Wales. Handsome, brilliant, charismatic, nobles trusted him. Protestants adored him. Common people practically worshipped him. He was the son everyone believed would stabilize the kingdom, the one who could bridge religion, politics, and royal authority. A balancing point in a country already simmering with tension. He was everything a future king should be, and then at 18 years old, he died. Suddenly, horrifically quickly, a fever, just a few days, gone. England didn't just lose a prince that day. It lost a future, the future it desperately needed. His death was like an earthquake, and the shockwave crashed directly onto his younger brother Charles. Quiet, shy, rigid, deeply religious, and absolutely unprepared. The exact opposite of Henry Frederick in every way. This is where the unraveling begins. Charles becomes the new Prince of Wales, inheriting not only the title, but also a kingdom with a cracked foundation. And he believes in something old, something that worked centuries ago, something that by the 1600s was practically a ticking bomb, the divine right of kings. The belief that monarchs answered only to God, not Parliament. But Parliament, they were getting stronger, louder, and far less tolerant of royal absolutism. So what happens when an inexperienced prince walks into a political minefield? Exactly. The fuse lights itself. Once Charles becomes king, every decision he makes is like poking a hornet's nest with a sword. Raise taxes without Parliament's approval, boom, outrage. Marry a Catholic princess in a kingdom terrified of Catholic influence, boom, panic. Crack down on political and religious dissent, boom, unrest spreads like wildfire. England starts splitting not cleanly, but painfully, neighborhood against neighborhood, family against family, faith against faith. Protestants versus Catholics, Parliament versus Crown. And while the kingdom tears at the seams, another prince watches. Imagine being a child and growing up not with tutors and ceremonies, but with rebellion echoing outside your windows. That was Charles II's childhood. He wasn't raised in stability. He wasn't raised in luxury. He was raised in crisis. His father, Charles I, was losing control. England was fracturing. War was breaking out. Royalists versus parliamentarians. Crown versus constitution. And the young Prince of Wales, he watched every piece fall apart. Then came the moment no prince should ever witness his father being tried for treason by his own subjects and executed. The axe didn't just fall on Charles I, it fell on the monarchy itself. Do you think any child could forget something like that? Do you think that trauma doesn't reshape everything that follows? Charles II wasn't just a prince. He became a symbol of something half the country wanted gone. And that's where the twist hits. here's the part nobody expects. The part that sounds like fiction. The part that proves how dangerous the title became. Because for the House of Stuart, being Prince of Wales wasn't an honor anymore. It made you a target. The moment the axe dropped on Charles of Stuart's neck, the monarchy collapsed. England became a republic under Oliver Cromwell. And Charles II, the Prince of Wales, instantly became the most wanted man in Britain. You think modern royal drama is messy? Try this. Charles II ran for his life. He fled across London rooftops. He disguised himself as a servant carrying someone else's luggage, dirt smeared on his face, so soldiers wouldn't recognize the prince who once wore velvet and jewels. He hid inside a hollow oak tree, listening to soldiers stomp through the forest beneath him. Every breath he took inside that tree could have been his last. This wasn't a prince preparing for a coronation. This was a prince surviving a thriller. Wild, right? Do you think so? And all because of a title once meant to celebrate the continuity of monarchy, now transformed into a glowing neon sign. Hey Parliament, looking for the heir? Here he is. The same crown jewel that had crowned Henry Edward and so many heirs became a curse for the Stuarts, a brand of danger, not destiny. Here's the part people forget: the hunt didn't end with the oak tree. Charles II spent months slipping through safe houses, hiding in priest holes, trusting strangers who could have sold him for a reward large enough to change their lives forever. He slept in barns, traveled in the dead of night, and memorized back roads like a fugitive rather than a future king. Every knock on a door made his heart jump. Every footstep outside felt like the last sound he might ever hear. And yet somehow, he kept going, not because he felt destined, but because stopping meant dying. That's the real twist. The Prince of Wales didn't inherit a crown. He inherited survival. When the conflict finally erupted into full-scale civil war, the consequences didn't just strike a family. They hit a whole nation. They rewired the entire political system. They reshaped the monarchy into something new, something limited, something watched, something fundamentally changed. Let's break down the fallout. And trust me, the fallout was massive. When the dust settled after years of bloodshed, England wasn't just bruised, it was unrecognizable. The old world of unquestioned royal authority had been smashed to pieces. With Charles gone, Parliament stepped into a kind of power it had never truly held before. Ordinary people suddenly had opinions that mattered. Militias, religious factions, radicals, moderates, everyone demanded a say in how the country should look now that the throne sat empty. Cromwell's republic tried to impose order, but even that experiment spiraled into its own storms of control, reform, and resistance. And when the monarchy eventually returned under Charles II, it wasn't restored the way a broken vase is glued back together. No, it came back with cracks still showing, with limits placed on kings that would echo across centuries. England had reinvented itself, and nothing about power would ever be simple again. Immediate aftermath: the monarchy dies. Charles I's execution wasn't merely a punishment. It was a message, a declaration. The king is not above the law. The monarchy, centuries old, collapsed overnight. England became a republic. Royal courts vanished. Crowns were boxed away. Royal symbols were melted down. And the title Prince of Wales deleted, erased from political vocabulary for almost 20 years. Imagine being born to inherit a kingdom, only to watch the job itself evaporate. That's what happened to Charles II. Immediate aftermath: the monarchy dies, and the shock didn't end there. With the monarchy abolished, everything that had once defined royal authority suddenly became illegal, even dangerous. Portraits of the king were taken down, loyalists were hunted, estates were seized. The idea of hereditary power, something England had taken for granted for generations, was replaced by a government run by generals, committees, and Puritan disciplinarians who wanted to erase every trace of the old order. For Charles II, still barely a young man, this wasn't just the loss of a crown. It was the loss of identity, purpose, and safety all at once. Overnight, he went from heir apparent to political exile, living reminder of a system the new regime was desperate to bury. Without a king, England didn't suddenly unite. It fractured even more. Parliament battled itself. Puritans clashed with traditionalists. Republicans clashed with monarchists. The army became a political power. Chaos reigned. In exile, Charles II watched. Every year, a way shaped him. Every failed uprising burned lessons into him. When the Restoration finally came and monarchy returned, Charles II was invited back not as an absolute overlord, but as a king with clipped wings. The monarchy was restored but transformed. Never again would a king rule unchecked. Never again would a prince inherit unlimited divine power. The Stuarts' crash became a permanent warning sign: push too far, rule too rigidly. And the crown can vanish. Parliament grew stronger. The monarchy became constitutional. The Prince of Wales became a role, not a guarantee. Even today, that shadow lingers behind William, behind every heir, the knowledge that the crown shines but trembles too. and that tremble never truly went away. The Restoration didn't erase the trauma, it simply painted over it. England had tasted life without a king, and that memory kept a permanent leash on royal authority. Every debate, every succession, every crisis afterward carried echoes of the Stuart downfall. The crown might glitter in ceremonies, but beneath the surface, it's always negotiating, always balancing, always proving it deserves to exist. And heirs like William inherit not just titles, but centuries of caution. The Prince of Wales may smile for cameras today, but the role he carries was forged in fire, shaped by civil war, exile, death, and the reminder that even a crown isn't invincible. When you zoom out past the battles, past the executions, past the dramatic escapes, you start to notice a pattern. From Arthur Tudor to Prince Edward, from the young Stuart heirs to William today. Across 5 centuries of heirs, every Prince of Wales carries the same burden. This title doesn't just promise a future, it demands one. It's not just an honor, it's a responsibility pressed into your bones before you can walk. And maybe that's the real twist of royal history. The more prestigious the crown looks from the outside, the heavier it feels from the inside. The Stuarts proved it brutally, one prince dead too young, one beheaded, one hunted across his own kingdom. But the pressure hasn't vanished, it's simply evolved. Modern heirs carry the weight in different ways: public image, media scrutiny, political neutrality, legacy, building. The battlefield changed, but the burden didn't. So the question lingers timeless and sharp: if power is a birthright, is the price ever truly worth paying? Let that sit with you for a moment. And hey, if you're curious how this cursed title shaped the next dynasties, from the German-rooted Hanoverians to the Victorian age of strict Polish monarchy, just say the word. Want this series to continue.
So after everything we've seen, what's the real takeaway here? The Princes of Wales from the Stuart line weren't just royal heirs, they were kids born straight into storms they didn't create. Henry Frederick gone too early. Charles I, crushed by his own belief in absolute power. Charles II, running for his life before he even understood what a crown truly was. And it makes you wonder, if you were in their place, would you have done anything differently? Would you fight harder for power or walk away before it consumed everything you loved? Do you think Charles of Barcelona was right to hold on to his principles, or did he drag a whole country into disaster? Let's see what you think. History is full of people making impossible choices, and the Stuarts paid the highest price for theirs. Maybe the real lesson is, this power can build a kingdom, or burn it to ashes depending on the hands that hold it. Tell me in the comments, if you were born to inherit a crown, would you take it or run from it? I'm honestly curious.